I thought I'd do a commentary on the city of Trondheim instead of background music or a series of still pictures. To start with, it was founded by King Olav Tryggvason, a Viking king who founded the capital in 997. Since then, it was the Viking capital of Norway until 1217. Trondheim is now the third largest city in Norway with a population of 182,000 people. You're now focusing on the island of Bratora. This is a man-made island, but that's as much as I know about it. I don't know when or the stats or how long ago, but I know it's a man-made island. Now, we're now panning to a station. I don't know what the station is called, but it is also on the island, and I've taken photos of the area, which is why we focused on it. We're now panning across to the town centre, the main crossroads of the city, which I've also taken photos of. And there's a obelisk there. This is the cathedral, Nidaros Cathedral, and the bishop's palace there as well. Again, a station. That star in the middle of the picture is where my next picture will be coming from. It is a panoramic view of the city of Trondheim. Okay, that little dot in the middle of the water there is Monkholmen Island. First used as a monastery in 1105, then as a fort in 1661 to defend them against the Swedes, later used during World War II as the Germans to site their anti-aircraft guns, and is now a popular restaurant and bathing area. We are now sliding over to our right, and if you follow the coastline, you will see a port, which is a man-made island called Bratora, which is where our ship is docked. This is a commercial area, which is obviously used as a port, railway station, and offices. As we continue to slide over to our right, we'll come across the green steeple of Nidaros Cathedral, built over the burial ground of Olaf II of Norway, later to become St. Olaf. Better pictures of this will be coming shortly. Okay, we're back to Trondheim. We're back to the map, and eventually we will zoom in to Barotter Island. Right at the top of the screen, 24, that's where the ship is berthed. And at the bottom, 36, is a location what's called the Rock Museum. Or what do they call it? Rockheim. Ah, look, this is Rockheim. Unfortunately, we're not going to go in, or haven't got any time to go in, because it's probably 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's closed. Again, this is the distinctive roof. And as we zoom out, you can see the station on this man-made island. Now it's amazing what the things you see that you never intended, like our ship berthed at harbour on Pier 1. There's the roof to the Rockheim Museum. And then as we pull out again, a different view of the station. This was quite a wide bridge with glass walls, but I still took pictures over the glass walls. And quite long, steep steps coming down from the railway bridge, focusing on the main road. And again, off to the distance, Nadras Cathedral, which again I didn't see until after I saw this picture. Back to the map. Focus to the top and the railway station. The group has now reached number 25. They will cross the water, follow the road to the left on the screen, and down to the main thoroughfare called Munkholmen Gate, eventually reaching number 3, the Royal Palace. Something of note, Munkholmen Gate is named because if you follow the road up north, it actually lines up with the island out into the water. This is one of the old streets in Trondheim. It's old because it's narrow. Cities like this suffers fires throughout its history, and to help prevent the spread of fires, town planners made the streets wider. We now come to the royal residence, a building called Stiftasgarden. Constructed in 1774 by a private citizen, a very rich lady called Cecil Christian Scholler, who, after inheriting her father's property in 1757, decided it was too small, demolished it, acquired and demolished the buildings round it, to build the largest house in the city, having 140 rooms and occupying a living space of 4,000 square meters. In 1800, it was acquired by the royal family and has been used by them ever since. From the royal palace, we're going to continue down Munkholmen Gate to the town square, and further down still to Nadras Cathedral. This is a statue of the town's founder, King Olav Tryggvason, standing on a tall column in the middle of the town square. In the background you can see Nadras Cathedral. This is your opportunity to speak his name. Again, Nadras Cathedral in the background. And again, we're going to zoom out. To my left is the my group of people. This is a overview of the Nidaros complex. At the top is the Archbishop's Palace in the form of a square. Underneath, Nidaros Cathedral, tourist centre and accommodation. Nidaros Cathedral is built over the burial site of St. Olav, the patron saint of Norway. In 1070 construction began but was not completed until 1300. During the Middle Ages, Nidaros Cathedral was the most important Christian pilgrimage site in Northern Europe. Even now, people take part in pilgrimages from Oslo to here. The west wall is decorated by statues and ornaments, with the signature rose window in the middle. When restoration started in 1869, only 5 statues were standing. Restoration of the west wall took place from 1901 to 1969, the last statue erected in 1983. Of the 57 statues on the west front, I will concentrate on this small group. First, Archbishop Øystein holds a bottle of Nidaros Cathedral in his hands because he was the main driver in its construction. St. Halvard, patron saint of Oslo, is said to have been drowned with a millstone around his neck, but miraculously came out alive with the millstone. St. Sunniva, Irish princess who fled to Norway and was killed by the enemies of King Olav I. St. Olav, always depicted holding an axe. Finally, the 3 theological virtues of charity, hope, and faith. This is my small group admiring the intricate carvings on the west front of Nidaros Cathedral. And this is the tunnel linking Nidaros Cathedral to the Archbishop's Palace. This plaque is situated on the other side of the arch. It gives a general layout of what the buildings are and what they do. Unfortunately, very little of it is written in English. However, in the next 2 shots, I'll endeavour to explain the functions of each building. This is the crown regalia, where the Norwegian crown is exhibited. During Norway's union with Denmark, coronations were held in Denmark. So, in 1818, when Carl John was to be crowned King of Norway, he had to commission his own crown. In 1908, the government abolished coronations. The last one was for King Haakon VII and Queen Maud. However, the crowns are used during the service of consecration and blessing by being placed on the high altar. The Army Museum holds artifacts from the Second World War back to the Viking times and the Middle Ages. I cannot pronounce the title of this building in Norwegian. It's abbreviated to NDR, which in English is Nidaros Cathedral Restoration Works. However, I don't know if this building is for admin or workshops or both. We now come to the Palace Museum, built on the remains of 2 large wooden structures that burnt down in 1983. holds the original sculptures from the west front as well as artifacts found on site from archaeological digs. Also houses the structural remains of the Mint, which was found after the fire. This building, I think, is a concert hall. The building in front of us with the steps is, I think, the Archbishop's residence, and the building next door is described as a chapel or great hall. Alright, we're back to my group behind the Archbishop's palace. In the background you can see a building described to me as a way station for the people taking the pilgrimage from Oslo to Nidaros Cathedral. As we pan over to our left, you can see what the people are looking at, which is the river Nidelva, which runs through Trondheim. The building we are now focusing on is the admin building for the NTNU, or in English, the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. I am told this footbridge was struck by a barge and is now being repaired. On the banks of the Nidelva used to be workshops and warehouses. As you can see, they're now converted into expensive apartments. We're now on the homeward part of our journey. From the Nidaros Cathedral and the Archbishop's Palace, we're going to follow the Nidelva up to what's going to be, I don't know what it is, it's either a jetty, a viewport, a view station, I don't know what it is. What you're looking at is a courtyard with a jetty sticking out into the river. Its function is obviously to help unload or load ferry ships or something, but the exact function I don't know. This is the staircase that leads down onto the square. It's only steps leading down, but someone's got into a lot of trouble and sculpted this. This is the most impressive set of steps I've ever seen. And this is the jetty. Again, it's obviously to load and unload passengers or high-ranking VIPs or something, I don't know. But they've gone into a lot of trouble to build it. And that's the damaged footbridge, and this is the view from the jetty with all these expensive apartments, all these warehouses converted into apartments, going all the way across to the other side where there's a road bridge. From here we just follow the river Nidelva up north, cross the bridge, and eventually back to our ship, the MS Midnatsol. On our way back I saw this and thought I'd take a picture. What the buildings originally looked like when they were working. All battered and beaten now. This must be a rare example of what the original warehouses would look like. This is a close-up view of Monkholmen Island, and then we shall gradually pan out to give you an idea of its bleak surroundings. The following will be a panoramic view of the bay with the island in it. Journey's end. MS Midnight Soul burst at Pier 1. I hope you found this information pack, this video about Trondheim, useful and informative. I can only hope you were not bored. Bye for now.